Hey.
We are channeling, Jim is channeling extraterrestrials and higher beings. And that's all I need to say. Lakesh is from Pleiades. He's called the blue, the short blue, the kind of Pleiadians which are short blues. And Tekkrr is a tall Lyran. And that's what we usually have as typical visitors. And others, we'll ask them to introduce themselves.
Correct.
So we're talking now to Jaguar.
There's somebody at the door.
Yeah. We're talking now.
Hold on, we have more visitors.
To Jaguar. Jaguar, so hello in Lyran is Wuha. How about welcome? Can you say welcome? Can you say welcome?
Yeah, just a second. 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗧𝗏.
Who was that?
It's Christy. She's parked in the driveway and she got hollered at, so she's being told to move her car.
Oh, right, wrong driveway.
Oh, okay.
Can you repeat again?
𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗧𝗏. But also, Max, I would like, before taking any further translations, to check with Tekkrr about the appropriateness of that action, because I got this feeling and that we should proceed with care and include her opinion before taking further translation efforts. I hope you understand that.
Yeah,
it's out of respect.
Be careful, but that's okay. I think there is too much bureaucracy there. Everybody in the universe knows that language, except except us here.
Hi.
Hey, welcome.
Hi, Christy. How are you? Have a seat and join us. Actually, yeah, Tekkrr did say something to me about that, but we'll ask her. I'll ask her to come in.
So let me repeat. 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗧𝗏.
𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗧𝗏. You were right. You just didn't pronounce it right.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not totally sure. But that would be my instinct.
𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗧𝗏.
Is it too warm in here for you? It's okay. Okay, it's okay?
It's warm for me.
It's warm for you? Let me turn it down. I was thinking it's a little warm, personally. Straight up the stairs.
Okay. So we have here Sandy and Christy.
Hi, everybody.
All right.
And we're adjusting the temperature to make it more temperate.
Max. All right. That's about it. We don't have any more announcements. If there is more than 10 people, but it's not today, if there is more than 10 people, the 10th one, if you finished with your question, you can exit and just watch us. But
right. There's a lot of people that just watch.
Yeah. If there is less than 10, then you don't have to leave. We like the company, and we would, it's nice to see boxes there of you.
Yeah. The people that are here in the boxes can talk and ask questions.
Right.
The people that are just listening just want to listen. That's all. So.
Are we starting?
I guess we will.
Or we wait for Christy to come.
It's up to you. She'll pass behind there anyway.
All right.
I'll see you in a little bit.
Bye, Jim.
See you soon, Jim.
Bye-bye.
Uha.
Woo-ha. Oh, I am Tekkrr.
Hey, Tekkrr, welcome.
Blessings.
Blessings.
One moment. There has been questions about the Lyran language I heard earlier while you were speaking.
Yes.
The words that he has been saying have actually been some phrases as well, because, for example, welcome is not one word in our language. It is, we greet you with love. So he spoke many words for the word welcome, and this is correct. Yes, it's more than one word, you understand. It is okay for you to interpret, but let us not do that today.
All right.
I would like to have you ask other questions. There are those that listen to these sessions that have not positive intentions, and therefore languages can sometimes come under fire because they can be interpreted, and if they can interpret those languages, then they may be able to interpret things that they should not. Does this make sense to you?
Yes.
But yet they are encrypted in our language. However, your government is very clever. They have aliens helping them, so it is possible for them to be able to find a way to unencrypt some of our communications. So therefore, we are very hesitant to bring too much of the language interpreted to these sessions. However, at this time, they have not been harmful. But you understood that. Did you not?
Yes.
But these things, fortunately, not coming to those of negative vibrations, they are actually not understanding how the words are put together by other outer species, although even some of them are close to the syntax of Earthlings in some ways, but others are far from it, very removed, as in Reptilian or Insectoid. Do you understand? Those languages sometimes do not even know what they mean to be interpreted as greetings or formalities of some sort. They are just merely sounds that are greetings to each other in their own languages. Sounds that mean words, but yet. Do you understand what I mean? I'm not sure that I am communicating that correctly.
I think that the fact that you and others are speaking languages on the YouTube, it is helping Lightworkers tremendously.
Yes, but we will not interpret it all. There are some words that we will not interpret.
That's fine.
Yes. This is all I am saying. Not all words will be interpreted.
I would invite you and Jaguar to speak more of Lyran language, whatever is appropriate.
I will give him a blessing
Thank you.
in Lyran.
Thank you.
Because he will perhaps understand it, but there are times when he does not understand what he is saying as well. Is that true?
Yes. Yes, Tekkrr. Hello.
Yes. You sometimes are able to interpret and other times not. There is a reason for that. But let me give you a blessing since Max is interested in the language form.
Yes.
Ayundo Hashindo Bahi Randa Korahor Mahonye Shambu Korahata Shonha Harahumbo Tuti Shitu Ambara Duha Hoiaimbora Ka Washo Horarando Moshoha
Iyo oho outuno o ishi oho ainyo oho moa.
Muka Oho Roshondo Boa Boa Yahota there is that thunder?
Yeah, it's a spring thunderstorm. Very welcome event.
Yes, we have such things on our worlds, but it's been a while since I have heard one, since I've been on the ship for a few years, your time now.
For us, it signifies that spring is coming, or spring has come.
It is a familiar and welcome sound.
Would you interpret what you just said, or at least overview?
I will give you, I do not remember exactly what I said, but it was on the lines of giving David a blessing for using his language and respecting it in a way that is very familiar to me. We understand that you were given the language because you do have much respect for it, and you do have much respect for alien life, and for the fact that they can help you as well. But the blessing was more for you personally, and thanking you for your responsibility in this matter.
Yes, Tekkrr, thank you for acknowledging that, and something I was already trying to communicate. I don't know if you got that message telepathically, but I wanted to personally apologize for any breach of protocol that I did with earlier translations. I wasn't aware that I was not being correct, so I apologize for any inconvenience I brought with my actions.
You are not at fault. You were not given any knowledge of what to do or what not to do. The protocol was not broken. The words that were interpreted were not important.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for that. That brings me peace of consciousness.
And realize also that when you're saying some of these words, they're actually phrases. That because there's not one word in your language to cover what we would say in its place.
Yes. Tekkrr, may I make some questions?
Of course.
It seems yesterday in my time zone, so the night before this one, yesterday evening, I saw a ship, and it seemed I tried to acknowledge its presence telepathically and send them love in their mission, and it seemed to acknowledge my presence. Could you check who they were?
There's no need to check. I am already aware that whenever a light worker sees a ship, it is more likely intentional than not. And for it to respond is not uncommon. Jim has had several of these kinds of experiences. There are several ships that make themselves known in this particular area. And when he's with a certain one of his friends, they see these ships and are... Well, Jim is delighted. And the other individual is slightly fearful, but not not that they don't like aliens, it's just a fear of the unknown.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But they said, if you're going to abduct somebody, take Jim, not me. We find that amusing as well.
Yes, yes, very interesting. Another question. Are you aware of a person that calls himself Ryan, R-I-O-N, the Ruan? And he's part of Team Light. Are you aware of him and his work?
I am not aware of all those that channel, but I am becoming more aware through Lakesh. Lakesh is more aware of all the channelers than I am, because I have other work that I must do. I am aware of the channelers that I work with. And there are a few others that I am aware of as well that are similar.
Yes, I asked specifically about him because he speaks Lyran also.
Ah, wuha, shumbukwa. Yeah.
Hucolo, 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗧𝗧, ushunu utu uho.
Kokao.
Io uhono, utunu iso uhoa.
Ha. Yeah. I understand.
Related to that, I have a request. So far, we haven't ever had on YouTube publicly anybody speaking who speaks through other channelers. It's always one channeler, a group of people, another channeler, another group of people. We would invite, through you, we would invite higher beings, extraterrestrials, to speak through Jim, those who already appeared on YouTube before. Bashar came once through Jim, but it wasn't on record, so that doesn't count. It would be nice to have those to come on and to speak through Jim on publicly.
This will happen eventually.
Thank you.
There are those that are aware of these channeling sessions that would like to become a part of that.
Wonderful. We would welcome them.
Some of these channelers are already interested.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Hi.
Hello. Who am I speaking?
This is Sabrina.
Ah, yes, I remember you.
I have a question in terms of discernment.
Yes.
And all the different channels, and how do we know? I don't want to say who's telling the truth, but how do we know?
I understand where you are going, and let me tell you this. You will know when someone is not authentic because it will resonate with you as you watch. It will come as an uneasy feeling. It will come as a question mark sometimes. It will come as something not natural. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Is there another part to that question?
No, it's just sometimes even when I know, like you said, because I can feel it vibrationally, that it just doesn't resonate.
Yes.
But then sometimes I even doubt that. So, and then sometimes even from the same person, some information seems to resonate and some information doesn't seem to.
Yes, well, you are human. What I would do is this. When you are alone doing your meditations, find your highest resonation, the things within you that make you the happiest, that brings the most light into your body. And then when you speak about these things, ask them to bring you the truth. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
And then when they bring this truth to you, do not doubt it. Do not doubt it. Because this is the resonation for you. There may be people that you are listening to that are not for you. It may not be that they are incorrect, but they are not for you. They're not communicating at your level. They are not communicating the things that you need to hear. Does this make sense to you?
Yes. Yes.
And sometimes when you do not resonate with these people, you may resonate with them later. But at this time, there are things that they are saying that do not resonate as truth because you are at a level that believes this or that and have not come into a purity of what is actual. Or it could be that they are not speaking the truth, and you know better.
Okay. All right.
Does this make sense to you?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
And follow your highest instincts and your highest resonations within you, because they will tell you the truth. It is much time like whenever you are in a situation and you get a feeling that it's not right. Have you ever had that happen?
Yes.
And you know that it's not right, so what do? Do you continue there or do you move away? You must move away. But sometimes people still continue. That is true. But if you are wise, you move toward your greatest resonation, your highest intentions, and the greater good for everyone.
Yeah, because
Okay, go ahead.
you know what I guess I don't know if you tell me if maybe I'm going about this the wrong way. I try and listen to different people because I want to get different points of view and try to get a more complete view and not be so one-sided.
Yes. Do you find that some over-intellectualize things and make it seem like it is greater than it is? Or what is it that you find bothering you?
It sometimes gets a bit confusing because some things match, but a lot of times, like, the stories are so different.
Yes.
As an example, like, let's say the story, the history of the Earth.
Yes.
And different channelers seem to have different histories on what went on.
You must understand, if you go to another country in your world, their history of the United States or their history of another country will be different than that country's history. This happens with aliens as well. They see it from their point of view, what they have seen, what they have experienced, and what their science says to them, and some of it is inaccurate. But the universe cannot be known completely and truly yet by anyone. And so for this, many stories come from legend from some species because they haven't been here for thousands of years. And others come from being here and living through it. But sometimes, just like your Old Testament, things are written down and changed, and it's not quite accurate. Do you understand?
Yes. So a lot of it's a matter of perspective.
What the beginning of the world is actually not that important. And so many take light of it and change it. What is important is where you're going in the world. What is important is where the enlightenment is going. They might want to distract you with all these different beginning facts and things that matter not at all to what is happening on your earth. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, yes. No, I was just using that as an example. But
Yes, I understand. I
yeah.
understand. But there is some things that are just a distraction and not really worth listening to. Because is it really valid how the world started? If, in the end, we are going to ascend, you are going to ascend, everyone is ascending at their own rates. Does that make sense?
Yes.
This is the important thing that we must understand at this point of history, is that the ascension is more important. The spirit, the truth about ourselves and where we are and who we are and who you are and where you are. For every species, this is the most important thing for right now. Of course, history is a fun, dabbling, can be very interesting. But at this time, there may be 5 different versions of your creation. There's a biblical version, there's a scientific version, there's a reptilian version, there's even a Lyran version, because we discovered you long ago. And the history that we know about you is what we experienced with you. And that would be different than anybody else.
Okay. Thank you.
Can I give you an example?
Yes, please.
A friend posted a video on our site. I watched only the beginning of it, but the beginning was that the aliens are certainly secretive. There was a history of alien abduction program. And the conclusion was made that the aliens have secret agenda of possibly taking over the Earth. And I tried to, and people became alarmed with that, and especially it kind of they connected the old hybridization program with the new one which I proposed, the voluntary one. And they became afraid that we are being deceived. And I don't have anything to oppose to that. I don't have any proofs. And what I can say is it's a leap of faith. If you look for bad aliens, you will find bad aliens. If you look for good aliens, you'll find good ones. So it's it's your choice. Can you comment on that?
Are you talking to me?
Yes, to everybody. But your comment I invite.
There is truth in that. You cannot prove many points because many points are speculations that could be true. But what I would say is what I was telling Sabrina. The resignation, the truth will not be hidden, and a lie will not be hidden as well. So that is all I can really say about that, is that if you know what you feel, believe that you have some intuitive natures within you that will. Yes? Are you speaking to me?
I think it's just random noise who went through. I will mute it.
I have a general question regarding unity consciousness.
Yes.
You know how we're all one?
Yes.
Does that include like rocks and blades of grass and trees, or is it just something with consciousness?
It includes everything but the consciousness is. Because everything has its own vibration. You split an atom and however, with the higher consciousness, there is a difference. You can actually change the world with your consciousness, but you can change each other by lifting each other. Does that make sense? Now the consciousness out is more aware. be aware of you as a human, but may be aware of you as an entity outside its realm. Does that make sense to you?
So a stone would be aware.
It would be aware in some senses, but not in the sense of consciousness. It has a job to do, and its job. But it does not have the ability to change its job. It does not have the ability to change what it is to do, or how it is to affect everything around it, or how it fits into the scenery. It is what it is. Whereas a human consciousness has the ability to change, develop, evolve, devolve. Does that make sense to you?
And I have thought we could, being as powerful human creators we are, we could project some consciousness into a stone or into a fish. Or
you can in some ways, but a fish will still be a fish and still do the things that fishes do. It may be more conscious of who you are, but it is still a fish and will not be able to evolve or do anything extra that fishes can do.
Okay.
Whereas you as human beings can do things that are not necessarily of your vibration, if that makes sense. You can move beyond who you are and become greater than you are and change the things within you and without you. Does this make sense to you?
I think if you make a dog into a friend, it becomes more human than a dog.
Yes, but it will not get a job and pay your bills.
one thing I'm confused about is I do past life regressions, and I've had some people come in like be a amoeba,
Yes.
or a dog, or a
Yes.
bird, or a butterfly. Just a piece of that consciousness come through, actually evolved from a butterfly thing.
That is a good question, because there is part of it that is self-conscious. They were aware that they were butterfly in one life. It was a short life.
Okay.
But they were only what they did as a butterfly could only be done. Their consciousness was there brief, but it is a very short life.
Okay. That completely on. He's another. Everything he says that consciousness, human consciousness, and it doesn't start out as a lower form. That they're totally separate.
Then how can people relate to that?
Relate to what? To what?
When they have a life, how can they relate that they were once in this frame? How can they once relate to this and not have had it happen?
Right, that's why I'm confused.
Because, let me explain. If it can be, do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
People have created parts just believe it's wrong. Does that make sense to you? So the past there. Their consciousness was there. You cannot be denied that it was there. But yet, it's only there a very short time. And perhaps, instead of being a past life, it was a past experience. Can you actually call the life of Eva an entire life? Hundredths of a second.
But
Some.
I was told by an Akashic read away in
Yes.
100 million years ago for 100 years, 150 years. So I projected my consciousness into that for a very long time.
This may have taught you a lesson that you needed to know. Past lives are they're alien, and they're animal. And you must understand, the reason for that is to give you understanding and learning, so that when you become the higher spirit, as you evolve and be spirit someday, you'll be able to relate to these things. It won't be that they are strangers to you. Does this make sense to you? You need to know these things. If you are going to be a being of responsibility, you have to know how they feel, how they had once felt, how they had once experienced. How are you going to be fair to them unless you know what they went through and how they felt?
Okay, thank you.
Does this make sense to you?
Yes, it does. And I'm sorry to cut in, but
it's
you guys are cutting off, kind of. Like, your voice keeps going in and out. I don't know if that's just me, though.
Perhaps technology, or perhaps this thunderstorm
Could be.
is affecting it.
How bad is it?
I don't know. It got really bad at one point, and I just...
Right now, how bad is it now?
It's okay now.
Okay.
Tekkrr,
Yes.
my name is Gabriel. I wonder about, I saw a person on Skype having a spoon, and he can bend spoon with his mind and turn things on fire. Like sometimes when he goes to school, he can't go to school because he sets things on fire.
Mischievous. Yes, there are people that can do these things. It is a channel within their brain that has extraordinary power. However, some of it is trickery. But some of it is actuality.
Yeah, that
spoons the mind is actually molecular. What is it? Manipulation. Is that correct, Max?
Yeah.
Molecular manipulation.
Manipulation, yes.
That is what bending the spoon. However, starting fires is partially spiritual in nature. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And if someone can start a fire with their will, there is something that needs to be corrected. Because that is not something man is to do.
Yeah, he says that he has connection with extraterrestrial race. I don't remember what race he had. And he's a twin person, so they are teaching each other and connecting. Yeah. I don't know.
𝗖𝗢 𝗪𝗪 𝗪𝗪𝗡𝗪 𝗪𝗪𝗪 𝗪𝗪𝗔
Sankhofwahando Pleiadianska Ahotor
𝗖𝗪𝗪 𝗪𝗪𝗪 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 오 오수노 오투수 우후 이노
there is yes, there is. One moment. There is a reptilian race that does do this. It is a form of trickery, but it is human manipulation as well. I cannot explain it to you right now, but it is not healthy.
Would you like to invite more questions?
it's not really a person I have spoken to. I had never met him.
I understand. I will have to... Do you know the name of this person?
I don't think I should say it right out to everybody here.
That's fine. I will talk to you later.
Do you have anything to say more to me?
Not at this time.
Okay.
What's your friendship?
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Hello, Tekkrr.
Good evening. Sabrina? No, Saphira.
Thank you. Yes, Saphira. Hello. I have a question about my son, Benedetto. He applied in October, and he's 22, lives a good moral life, has a world view, has a lot of spiritual abilities, but he's never heard anything, no scanning, no nothing. Did something, can you, I don't know what to ask, but is there a reason why he was just skipped over? Is there something about him that didn't work, or?
I do not know. I am not part of that committee. However, I will check for you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And I will tell you at another time. They are not in session.
Okay, thank you. I have a question. You told me another channeling time that the original Garden of Eden was on Lyra.
That was one. Yes, that was the original Garden of Eden, and it was repeated on Earth in a very similar way, but not exactly.
Oh, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Tekkrr.
That's okay. I am not understanding why you are sorry.
Because I interrupted you.
No.
I apologize.
So
there was thank you. So there was a different Garden of Eden on Earth as on Eden, on Lyra?
Yes.
Okay, now I understand. So do you understand who Adam and Eve were on Earth?
Yes.
Can you share that?
They were the first thinking individuals, meaning that they were the first of their kind to have knowledge.
Okay, their children.
Yes.
Their children married when they were older other people. So the people who were on the earth before they were their people?
Yes. Let me explain what I mean by knowledge. They had knowledge of spirituality that no one else had. The others were all dark, mystic spirits that they worshipped and believed in. And few believed in great, wonderful spirits that were good. They all feared all their gods back then before Adam and Eve. But then when God was there with Adam and Eve, even though the story says that they were brought to failure by a serpent, they were still the first spiritually pure individuals before the fall. Does this make sense to you? The others that lived around them were not spiritually pure, but Adam and Eve were because of their innocence, naivety, and they listened to the voice of their own hearts and resignations because they knew what was right and what was wrong. Even before right and wrong was made clear to them, they were living right. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, I was taught that the fall happened because Lucifer seduced Eve because he wanted to be one with her, and she realized he was not meant to be her partner, so she went to Adam, and she united sexually with Adam, and they inherited shame and guilt as a result of that false union. that Lucifer wanted to kind of steal her away. And do you understand the story in that way, or in a different way?
In a different way, actually.
Okay.
The purity of Adam and Eve's sexuality was far before they ever met the serpent. They were pure sexual entities together because they had no bad intention for their sexuality. They had no bad thoughts about it. It was pure. It was innocent. It was loving. It was gentle. What happened with the serpent, or the being that beguiled Eve, was that she began to understand that it may not be what she thought it was. He gave her the thoughts that her intentions were bad, although she was not being bad. He convinced her she was bad. Does that make sense to you?
Yes. So.
And therefore, when she thought that she was bad, although she was not, she was deceived. And this is where things fall apart. When people think that they're doing evil things, which are actually pure and loving, and everyone around them believes that they're not doing the right thing because they're told, and they believe that things are meant, they're not doing it for the right reasons, or the reasons they're doing them are evil. You must look at yourself and look at God and see the purity there. Purity. There is no purity in deception.
Okay, so there was no sexual union between Lucifer and Eve?
Not that I am aware of.
Okay. Well, okay.
Not that I am aware of, because who would want to unite themselves with what would appear to be something other than yourself? She was not attracted. She was attracted to his words. She listened to his words because they started to make sense to her. And when she started to understand that he was telling her that she was doing wrong, and that everybody else on the planet believed the same way as he did, he bought into that deception, not into his physical being, but into his words, into his thought process. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, except the world fell into darkness, or Adam and Eve were separated from the garden just because of that. It seems too simple.
They were not separated because they had children after that.
No, from the Garden of Eden, from God.
They were separated from the Garden of Eden because they left it. That was their choice. It was their choice to believe the serpent. And after they believed the serpent, it was no longer Eden. It was something totally different to them. It was another concept that he had given them about what they were doing. He just changed the entire concept of Eden. He didn't change it. They didn't run away from it. It was just gone.
Okay. And do you have a similar story on your planet with your garden?
Yes, except that, well, it's a longer story. Do you want me to tell it now?
That would be great.
Yes, sure. Thank you.
Okay, there was a similar situation where, I will shorten the story if you don't mind.
Thank you.
It can go on for a very long and intricate period of time. Creation was very different than 7 days as it is written in your Bible, but the Adam and Eve aspect were very similar. They had put but the difference is that they put the whole civilization into an Adam and Eve sort of concept. Do you understand that? And the Reptilians were jealous because why should one species be held over another, given that they were pure and innocent and watched after and needed nothing?
Mm-hmm.
And so eventually what happened is their Adam and Eve, were destroyed by the fact that an outside force came to destroy it, which is the same as the serpent, the outside force, actually.
Mm-hmm.
This is the same similarity. However, they did not reason with these people, but decided that they would take over these people. And they deceived them into believing they were good, just like many people think that the aliens will deceive them and then do bad to them. However, in this case, that is what happened. And then eventually the planet was destroyed. And the Lyran people were scattered, but accepted in many, many places around the universe. That is a very, very shortened version.
Thank you. Okay, so Earth was, some of the Lyrans came to Earth when the planet was destroyed, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And some of the races would be from your race here?
Yes.
Which ones?
One moment. There are many stories about which races were begun by the Lyrans.
Yes, interesting.
There's many legends, and there's many different, as someone had pointed out earlier, there was different beginnings. And when they came to Earth, there was different beginnings because they didn't come all to one place.
Mm-hmm.
But they came to different places and had different situations and histories. So therefore, the beginnings were in, I will tell you just the locations. Is that okay?
Please, thank you.
One of them was in the United States in the southern part called Georgia and Florida.
Mm-hmm.
There was a beginning there. There was also a beginning in a place called Czechoslovakia, where it is now the Czech whatever. I'm not sure what it is.
Czechia and Slovakia.
Czechia and Slovakia. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
In that area, there were some settlements as well. And one other area, and that was in what you would call the Shetland Islands.
Mm-hmm.
The top, where there still is much alien activity.
Our archaeologists find huge skeletons. Would some of those be Lyrans?
Yes. Some of them would. There is still much. If you would go to the Shetland Islands, do you know where those are?
Nope. Yeah, okay.
They're north of England, I believe.
Okay.
They're a very sparsely populated area of the world, closer to the Arctic Circle than they actually are to, well, they are close to Norway as well, Scandinavia, I believe. But there are several islands there that are uninhabited almost completely, and there is much alien activity there because they are not
detected.
Well, and the weather is not as harsh there as some may think.
Which of the aliens would be there? Good ones?
Yes, there are good and there are bad.
Oh.
There are island is 𝗪𝗘𝗪𝗔 or something of that. Gabriel, is there an island called 𝗪𝗘𝗪𝗔?
Where?
In the Shetland Islands.
I don't know.
And Ilya and Egg, these are places that there are alien settlements.
Mm-hmm.
Tekkrr, do you know who built the Stonehenge monument in England. It's supposed to be built perhaps by ETs.
You will find out one day who built them. For me to tell you history that you do not know would be unproductive for me.
Okay. Thank you, Tekkrr.
I must go now.
Thank you for your visit.
Thank you, Tekkrr.
Yes. Muha, whiskia.
𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗧𝗧𝗡𝗧.
Yeah. Yeah. Blessings to all of you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Thank you, Tekkrr.
Hello.
Hi, Jim.
Can you hand me my water? Thank you. Did you want anything to drink?
No.
Okay.
Welcome back, Jim.
Hi, Jim.
Hey. Hello, how are you all?
Good, thank you.
Pretty good.
Good. Oh, Tekkrr was long-winded today.
We had lots of questions.
Oh, how was she?
Good. Very informative.
Good, good. I have a sense that there was somebody else coming, but they're not there now. But Tekkrr took up their time as well. Something. Is there any questions for me right now?
How are you feeling?
Well, it's been a long day, but I feel fine.
Okay, that's
I
good.
feel fine.
Okay.
It's been a long day. I had a cup of coffee before this session, so that would wake me back up a little bit. Because
How is the sound now? Is it still breaking or is it fixed now?
No, it's good.
it's
It's
good
been
now.
good a long time.
What was that?
It's good.
It's been a good long time now.
Oh, good.
No, I
Just
think
maybe
that
for
way. I would assume it would be thunderstorm, kind of just breaking the connection.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
Max,
for
the
a
picture
while
is-
there, we didn't really. I didn't really hear a lot of what Tekkrr said.
Oh, for a while.
Yeah.
What's the subject matter? Do you remember?
When she was asking about what she does and about the past life regressions and.
Oh.
Okay, unity consciousness was one
Oh,
question.
you were
Unity
talking about all the.
Yeah.
I forget what you were talking about. You were talking about consciousness.
Unity consciousness and what's included in that, if it would be rocks and grass and trees, or is it
What
just
does-
human?
What did Tekkrr say so you can give it to them? Sorry, I don't remember it, so you'll have to tell them what.
Basically, she said it's not incarnations as amoeba or a butterfly. It's more like experience, which is much shorter. So you don't really live the whole human life there. You just kind of enter a butterfly experience and then come back. And that animals and stones can't really go beyond the animal or stone life, but humans can. That's what was the
like-
answer
Okay.
was.
They've got an awareness, but it's different than our awareness.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Well, that's good.
No, I had actually an experience where I was sitting outside and I was looking at the ground. I'm sitting under this big old tree, and I felt myself beginning to melt into the light and with the tree.
Oh.
And as I looked up, I was like becoming one with the tree.
Oh, cool. That's great. Really cool.
Yeah, and then at some point, I was like, "What is happening?" And then I brought myself back and felt myself back in the chair that I was again.
Yes,
But
yeah, I love trees. I hugged one once for a long time. I hope there was nobody watching. But it was a great, great experience. Really, really was. They're so... Once you get their pulse, it's like really wonderful. You can just feel how good they feel, you know, and their pulse is very slow. Boy, it really calms you down, you know what I mean? Talk about being calmed down. Just take the pulse of a tree and you'll be like, boom. Boom. I mean, that's like the pulse of a tree. It's very, very slow. Even slower than that, even, so it's great.
Trees are very loving.
Yes, they are. They are.
I love them.
Yes, I do too. And they harbor no resentment. I mean, even if they've been chopped on and carved in and misused, they just are themselves still. They don't change their, you know, they don't change how they feel about humans or anything, or animals or whatever.
Yeah.
They don't change that feeling. It's just like, oh, well.
Yeah.
They go on and they accept things just the way they are. It's just amazing.
Hey, Jim,
Yes.
I have a question.
Sure.
I just wanted to let you know I got my dad. I told him that he had implants in the back of his ear and.
Oh. Jody, is that you?
Yes. And he was freaking out. Oh, he was feeling behind his leg and everything. It was so much fun. It was so much fun. And so he wanted me to ask you a question.
Yes.
He said, are there ETs who think that we are a delicacy? And that is a dad question all day long. He wants to know.
They think we are a food delight.
Oh.
Yes, there was at one time the Draconians thought of us as just lovely. They would barbecue us and have us for dinner, but and there was a couple other species as well that I can think of, but Draconians were probably the most hungry for humans that I can think of.
Yeah,
And those are the reptilians, right?
They're like dragons.
Oh,
kind of. And they actually have layers under the earth. I know some channelers say there is no passages in the earth or openings in the earth underneath, but think about that. That's sort of impossible. And we've been told that they live in a very large underground area.
We asked someone if they prefer young females, and they said no, they don't really.
They don't really have a taste for humanity anymore because they realize that it's wrong. We're actually a consciousness that was different than theirs. But they were barbaric back then in the early days, in centuries and centuries ago, probably 3,000 or 4,000 years ago. They were just, you know, come out, and if they wanted to eat a human, they would. So.
But they said I think it was Tekkrr who explained, but maybe Lakesh.
Maybe.
That it was human who who thought that they want young, beautiful women. The Draconians didn't really.
Oh, that's right.
Prefer maybe they liked younger, but they didn't worry about the gender more or less. Or are they beautiful or not?
Yes, and they would sacrifice people to the Draconians just to keep them away for a while. So.
Right.
That was true. That's part of legend on Earth, and it is actually a true fact that they did give people to the Draconians to keep them away from the village or whatever. They made it.
Well, I guess there used to be humans that ate humans too, though.
Oh yes, oh, there still are.
Yeah.
There still are.
So,
not very many left, but there still are. So.
Right. And then I had a question, and I was having some technical difficulties, and so I couldn't unmute before Tekkrr left. But I was watching the History Channel, and they were talking about near Serbia, there were these devices underground that I guess when they go to the area, it makes people sick. But I guess these devices come out in time of need to protect the Earth. Do you know anything about that?
The aliens might know something about that, but I don't really know anything about that.
Okay.
But I would imagine that sounds like something that could possibly be.
Jody, if you want to discuss that, I'm aware of something that might help you get some knowledge on that.
Oh, great. Thank you.
There's this guy called Alex Putney, so Alex as in Alexander, Putney, Putney, and his website is called Human Resonance, humanresonance.org. There you'll find articles regarding that, and also Stonehenge, and also other sacred sites throughout the planet that are linked in what some call ley lines and standing scalar waves, etc. They have to do with the resonance system of the planet. Also the Giza pyramids, of course, so on and so forth. So if you want to check that out, you'll have there lots of information.
Yes, there are meridians and lines on the Earth they connect all of the greatest mysteries on the Earth are connected by these meridians and lines, and they're all connected in some way or another, and they definitely are alien. I know that the aliens don't like to tell you anything about things that we don't know enough about. So.
But there are also human sources. This has to do with an aspect of history that is not official history, but there's plenty of work coming through of guys like Graham, I don't remember his second name right now, but you just check out occult history or untold history that has to do with civilizations 22,000 years ago, like Atlantis and others. All of those had technologies that would most likely had alien origins, and
definitely, yes.
Then were misused, and then that part of history was traumatic for our conscious and got blocked.
Yes. Yes, and they won't talk about it unless we find out for ourselves a lot of times. It's part of who we are to find out what happens. So that's what I am.
I want to know everybody's opinion on this. That it seems like there's the amount of people that are waking up, it's like tripled.
Yes.
In even the last couple of months, it seems to be a lot more.
It's the beginning of the ascension, and more people will be waking up all the time.
What I understand is that now people starting finding others that already are awakened becomes more and more easier.
Yes.
So it's not that more is awakening right now, I feel. More that people finding others that are also awakened.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both of those things.
And the energy is coming into the planet right now.
Right,
too.
the fourth dimensional energy is slowly getting stronger, so it's something to be reckoned with there.
Did anybody ask about, sorry to change the subject a little bit, did anybody ask about the Ukraine situation, America, Russia, because it seems to be turning into a potentially warring situation?
They asked that a couple of times a few weeks ago, I think. But at that time, a few weeks ago, they didn't give really much information. They just said, well, what did they say?
Lakesh said that I asked if Ukraine has any special meaning, maybe it has a special chakra or special magical meaning, and Lakesh said other way around. negative forces, MIC, military industrial complex, uses Ukraine as a playground to see how they can control human masses. Basically, they play out new scenarios which they want to do more of that, and he said that unfortunately we should expect much more of what is happening right now. It's just kind of the beginning of a process when they just separate people and make them fight each other.
Yeah, I agree with that totally. Just from my understanding and my intuition, it's basically foreign affairs, American foreign affairs meddling with geopolitics and manipulation, basically, and trying to. It's basically a psyop, a psychological operation, to manipulate people's consciousness and bring fear, basically, into people's consciousness.
Why only American?
Well, it's more than just American, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't just say just American, but mainly in terms of political maneuvers. And it's come out. There's some releases of information of wires and emails from American representatives there trying to do their chess moves in terms of politics.
Yeah, chess. It's a game of chess, of course.
Yes.
Basically, it's a way of making money from my point of view. How do you make money on the market if you don't know the future? If you don't know the future, you can't make money on the market. But if you make the future, you can. So making the future is very easy. You kind of manipulate the events. You explode things here, you release some information there, and you shoot few people here, and then there is retaliation. So you can manipulate the events pretty easily if you use these tools have been developed middle of last century. All these spy movies, James Bond and others, how they make things very indicative was that first victims in Ukraine were the people in crowd who had been shot by snipers, hidden snipers, and then there is retaliation. So somebody has money to send snipers just to kill random people, just to warm up the hatred.
Max, did you ever ask any of them about the airplane? If they...
yeah, we did.
I don't remember.
I remember them saying the aliens said it's already found.
Somebody said, yeah.
But they're not telling anybody because there's something unusual with it. It's something unusual, and they're studying it, and they're not going to release. They may never tell you that they found it, but at this point they have found it.
The authorities, yes.
The authorities have found it. It's impossible for them not to have found it. That's pretty much what he said.
Well, that's exactly. That's what everyone thinks.
Yeah, and it's true because they have found it. Lakesh.
Have anybody seen
weeks ago
Lost show?
Yeah. He said it a long time ago.
Let's come back to that question. So we had that video on our side where the logic was, let's open our minds to everything, and the aliens are secretive, and they did abduction program, so they have secret agenda, which is likely negative. What can you answer to that?
Oh, what did Tekkrr say?
She said, you will see, just feel with your heart, and you will see the truth. That's the answer. I mean, what can she say? She doesn't have no one, neither they or us. We don't have any way to prove anything. It's really hard to prove that you are innocent. How can she prove that she is innocent? That she doesn't have a secret agenda.
Right. So okay, I understand what she said. Okay, if that's what she said, she's saying, do I resonate bad with you or do I resonate good with you? That's
right. It's the resonance that you feel, but even within that, sometimes it's not quite clear.
Right. Clarity is something different. Yeah. Clarity.
Right.
You see, the whole idea that we are here sane and we have our way, and then somebody is an intruder from outside. The whole idea is kind of not very close to reality. The reality is it is a big experiment run from outside.
Yeah.
It's more like patients in psychiatric clinics say that nurses are trying to take over the clinic for themselves. That's Imagine the nurses being an aliens and psychiatric patients thinking that the nurses are secretive. They are secretive, and they have history of abductions and treating patients badly. So they're possibly negative, and they want to take over the psychiatric clinic.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it is. We are psychiatric clinic, and the aliens are running it.
Mm-hmm.
And their way of doing it through secrecy, because that's the nature of the experiment.
What I experienced.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, sorry, Max.
The-
What I experienced.
Go
ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Did I interrupt you, Max? I'm sorry. I always do that. I want to just express something about intent, because when I first applied, I had a lot of dreams and interesting sort of spiritual experiences where, I kind of felt that, or I was told I was being scanned, right? The atmosphere, the feeling in the dream was very good. I really felt good being around, if these were representing the different ETs who were scanning me. What made me wonder is that the atmosphere was dark. There was no white light or golden light. And I know there's a difference between the spiritual world and the higher levels, which emanate like a really bright light. And the ETs are not part of the spiritual world, even though they can be somewhat ethereal in their vibration to us. We can't really see them. So sometimes I wondered, okay, are they really from the light, even though they felt good, or not? And this sort of ties into the question of feeling their intention.
Right.
I couldn't tell 100%, to be honest, even though it felt good. Yeah.
I don't know how to answer that except for as I guess as we move up in the light, in our vibration, we'll be able to better tell. I think that just makes sense.
We don't have any proofs, but
thanks, Jim.
Say how to prove that Canada is not secretly planning to take over US. How do you prove that Canada is innocent? They are very secretive. It's almost impossible to tell that they are planning to take over US. How do you prove that? Basically, going to Canada and walking around the streets wouldn't help. If we were to go, to alien world, how would we tell that they're not secretly planning to take over the Earth?
Yeah.
Basically, you have to ask people who are outsiders and know from different perspectives. So, ask Canada's enemies, Iraq or who is Canada's enemies?
No.
Well, the problem is not just proving that. Is that not only because if you, let's say you take a wrong path, the problem sometimes is that you don't want to lead lots of people into this path because you think it's the right one, and at the end you have taken all these people along with you, and you don't want to have that responsibility.
Yeah, that's always that always comes to the back of your head sometimes, because they are good. They seem to be doing all the good things, and then somebody will say something that goes, well, yeah, of course they're going to do good. They want you to follow them, and But what we've seen so far, they genuinely seem like they're on our side. So otherwise, they could have taken over already.
We are doing just what you said.
We are taking a leap of faith.
And leading other people, right?
And leading other people, right? and so that is a scary proposition. It's a scary. But I mean, how do you know? Like, it reminds me of that Outer Limits, where they had all these wonderful aliens come onto our ship, and they had books that say how to serve humanity, and it was actually a cookbook. So
you were being served, right? They were serving them,
right?
Yeah, that was called That was called How to Serve Man. That was an awesome, awesome Twilight Zone.
They were so nice and friendly, and they put you on the ship, and they were taking you back as a delicacy. So, she goes, "Oh, look, there's a book here that says How to Serve Man," and you open it up, and it's like all these different recipes. So,
okay, I could give proof that they're not. Jim, I could give proof that they're not going to eat us because they would have taken me already. Because I'm quite ample for them.
Let's just a little bit more serious. Somebody want to say something?
What I am wondering about is they are watching us whenever they like to watch us, was Bashar said, so they can be watching you at any time. And I wonder what other people will think about that, because of our privacy in the internet becoming more like nobody should watch you on the internet and in stores and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. You're changing the topic. I just started the topic and you already changed. So watching, for Yahyel there is no privacy. For Blues, no privacy. For Pleiadian there is some, but it's different. I mean, they are not watching us for porn. They are watching us for something else, like more like emotional porn, but not erotical. So I don't think that matters. Again, we come here in the third dimension, forgetting our all past lives. It is the nature of this physical 3D incarnation. They are different. They are all the aliens we talk to are 4 dimension. They are one level up. They are already graduated from third. We are freshmen or whatever, kindergarten, and they're already like, university, that sort of thing. So for them, it's very different. They wouldn't even able to live on Earth because it's third dimensional. So saying that they want the Earth for themselves is just a mistake. Of course, there is different flavors of those. Reptilians want to turn us one way, Orions another way. These are bad guys. And Pleiadians, Lyrans, Arcturians, Sirians, and Centurions, and Andromedans, they are enlightened. They want to help us. And basically, right now, they are guarding us and creating that very, very how do you say, protected environment for us. They are, they have to fight our enemies outside of the solar system, preventing the enemies to come through, and they have to really quarantine us so we can finally evolve naturally, because that's the only way we can evolve.
I have a question about that, because if we create our own reality,
all right,
and I would think that in the 4th we would have there would be a little more control over duality. Like we would be able. So why are they still having to protect us so much? Do you see what I'm saying?
I think we're sort of unique, and that's the only reason why I see so much protection, is that without their protection, we won't last, because the Earth flips over too many times, and there's a lot of different things that happen on our planet that don't happen on other worlds.
It's a different question. She says that 4 dimensions should be shiny and rainbow, and everybody would be like.
No, not shiny and rainbow, but less duality, and more able to. I don't want to say control, but I guess that's as close as it gets, to control what happens, because you're more aware that you create your own reality. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes. Who's to say that that's not true?
That's not true.
That what she says is true, that they do already create a better reality for themselves,
but we have that same ability.
Yeah, we do.
And we are but we are creating them to help walk us through these learnings and teachings. They are our creation as well as this reality. We created.
If we
these
create our own,
ETs.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Out there.
Mhm.
Nothing out there. It's all within us.
Correct.
One of us is creating all these different ETs.
Right. So that's my question. So why do we need to keep creating so much duality, like the other ETs? Why?
You can just create all pretty fun, good, positive ETs in your reality if you want.
Yeah, I agree.
We agree.
Right.
What we do here, we invite positive ETs. Basically, it's there is already all flavors of ETs. If someone focuses, if you focus on negative, you will find negative. If you focus on positive, we'll find positive. And, our path will split.
But they're obviously so they're positive, but they're still encountering negative.
Oh yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? So
yeah. So why is there so much duality with them?
Right.
We are putting that into them because we created them. So we are making that little negative piece part of them too, for our own learnings, for some reason. But we created the ETs. We created their negativity too.
So are we creating are we putting onto them our view, our reality, or?
Well, we would have to for them to be able to deal with us. If they didn't understand who we were, they couldn't deal with us and they couldn't help us. So yes, in a way, we do give them everything that's human, and they have to deal with it so they can help. The alien part of them can help the human part of us. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But yes, we do put that on them. We have to. I mean, they couldn't even talk to us if they didn't understand.
Right. So my question, if we were out of the picture, would they still be encountering, let's say, the other aliens? Would that even have to be such a high or would they just know about them but never encounter them?
No, I think that the way it is that every scenario is played out in every dimension. There is a dimension for every scenario. I believe that. And they're all being played out to see which ones turn out like what.
You see, there are different perspectives. So right now we kind of stepped out to a perspective where we talk about human experience and alien experience. If we come to a different perspective, we know pretty well the history of the galactics. So what they tell us, so these imaginary ETs which manifested in our reality, they tell us their history, and now it becomes, as more and more you join, it becomes your history as well. So each of them evolved through 3D into 4D, and now they live in our
consciousness.
I'm coming back to history too. In our Milky Way galaxy, except Andromedans, which are in Andromedan galaxy, and there is a lot of bad guys. And Lyrans had, history of wars and moving around, and Pleiadians and so on. And right now, Girk Fitneer, this alliance of Lyrans, Pleiadians, Arcturians, and Yahyel, and new group which is friendly Reptilians, they kind of like peace force, peace police, peace army, which kind of put an order in that part of the galaxy. So they are in charge, but they kind of militarized. And they're very enlightened, and they trust the main guidance to Arcturians, who are most evolved, and they're kind of multidimensional and nice and trusted by everyone. So that we know, and that's now the reality. So they come here to third dimension and help the Earth to evolve, because part of the reason is they know some of the future. In some of the timelines, the Earthans, the humans, evolve to fourth dimension and become very important for the galaxy. They basically, in some of the scenarios, they save the galaxy from the darkness. Basically, we already in the future we already evolved, and they know that they have to help in this group of timelines. There are multiple timelines, but in our area of timelines, kind of the branch, the collection of timelines, they need to help us to make it. Obviously, in some of the timelines, we already failed, we already destructed ourselves. And in other timelines, we already evolved. But they're kind of playing, they're also playing in their fourth dimension as we are in ours. They are more aware of their incarnations. They are capable of talking to different spiritual entities and to higher selves than others. And they know about past lives and things like that. They're telepathic. So there is a lot of miracles there, but the reality also is quite military, quite dark, and that's who we are talking to. And you know, I'm in this area already since 2009, so I have been kind of waving and trying, and I understand the importance of my choice. So at some point, I look at the dark ones, and really it looks very depressing. And as you look in the darkness, you kind of sink into that. So then you have to make a conscious choice, what I'm making all the time, to go with the light ones and focus only in the positive scenarios, and then kind of ignore all the politics, ignore all the darkness. And you know, many aliens already do that. So our friends are kind of military, practical, dealing with the third dimension, but many others, they ignore that and they go up, and they are more like into 6 and 7, where the physicality is less and less and less. But in fourth dimensions, there are wars, there is death, and you know, for Yahyel, you know, their bodies is just vessels. So when Yahyel crashed in Roswell, they crashed, they were captured, and the human military was surprised that they are not afraid of death. And they're not afraid of death because they know when they die, they just keep their memory of past lives and incarnate in a new body. Also, they have the hive mind, so they kind of, everything they experience is experienced by the whole community, the whole civilization. So for them, the body is not as precious. They are born already kind of with the mind of an adult. They have the childhood experience, but they still remember a lot of their past, and we don't. So for them, the death is not as scary. They still take care of their bodies. They live 300 to 600 years, you know, these civilizations. But and they have wonderful medicine, but they're not afraid of death. And we are afraid. It's kind of part of our human experience here. Mm-hmm. That's psychiatric clinic. We chose to come here to forget. That was the extreme. You know, all these dimensions is. You forget more. The God forgets, you know, that he becomes the creator. He forgets part of it. Then it goes down, 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 and we are at the level where we forget everything, and that helps us to feel like gods here. That's part of the experience.
I actually was reading a quote by, I think it's called Swoosh, and he was talking about how we have the gift of remembering, and he was sort of implying that he was kind of jealous because he didn't have that.
Yeah.
And we have the gift of going back.
All what you forgot. Yes, that's relearning what we already forgot. You chose to forget, and as Bashar said, you jump here in this reality, but you sort of ask your friends to watch over you, and these are our spirit guides. So these spirit guides kind of watch over you and guide you through that experience on Earth, because, you know, otherwise you wouldn't be able to experience that. But then they kind of pull you out. And our alien friends also, they protect the Earth, from flipping. They keep an eye on, you know, that is actually that movie. Richard Dolan was. I know Richard Dolan. He's here in Rochester. We really cherish him. He is a historian, and he works with documents. So he went and looked at documents and witnesses of in the U.S. military, around the globe military, what was, and wrote a few books, what was documented. And one of that, it comes over and over, the alien prevent big destruction. So they allow small destructions, but when the conflict, nuclear conflict, is too dangerous, they come and make a show. They kind of shut down rockets, and that's happened in 50s, 60s, and so on. So, all right, 60s and so on. So that is well documented. A lot of witnesses see the saucers and how they just shoot the rockets somewhere in the air, and they basically disappear. So that costs a lot of money, and military war devastated. They have no control of that. But basically, the nuclear
I think you guys muted yourself.
There you go. Yes.
I kind of ignored it, and I was like, did I accidentally mute them? Oh my gosh. I can't hear you guys.
I think I might have. I don't. If they unmute themselves.
You guys hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can't hear them. I don't think they can.
I can't hear them.
How interesting.
Yeah, somebody muted the whole room. It's
Interesting.
Gabriel. It said Gabriel muted the whole room.
Yeah, I said that I did it accidentally. They have to unmute themselves.
Oh, I see. How do you mute the whole talk? I don't even know how to do that. How'd you do that, Gabriel?
Yeah. How'd you do that?
Then Max was probably.
I didn't think that I was
talking on and on and on, and we're like, can't hear anything.
They look really confused. Max especially looks confused.
It's like we'll become so silent.
Yeah.
Max, can you hear us?
Can you guys hear us?
If you can, you have to unmute yourselves.
Oh, I was muted.
Okay. You're back. Welcome back.
You're
Max.
back.
When I was talking, did you hear me?
No.
No.
I have a question though.
Aliens muted you.
Oh.
I have a question.
Okay. So what is the last thing you heard?
I don't even
I can't remember.
Can't either.
How long were we muted?
For like a
About
couple
3
seconds.
minutes. 3 minutes. 2 minutes, maybe.
Oh, okay. Well,
Just for Max is talking.
Yeah.
through Max's soliloquy
Yeah.
there.
At 8:41, about there, it got muted.
Oh, so about 6 minutes. Okay.
All right. I think the last thing I was talking about Richard Dolan. Did you hear about Richard Dolan?
Yes, the documents.
Yes.
All right. That's about it. No, Richard Dolan was at the end. Yes.
Yes.
That they prevented nuclear war many times.
Richard Dolan lives there in Rochester?
Yes, it's our celebrity.
Awesome. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
He's good.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Okay, so I was wondering, when the aliens observe you, do they give you certain tests? Do they test you out on things?
Only if they're told to, but most of the time it's just observation, and the implants are monitors, and there's no real tests, except that if something is starting to go wrong, they fix it.
Like what?
Like if the implant starts to hurt or it's not picking up the information, then they just fix the implant.
I would correct a little bit. I get a lot of tests, and
you do. You're different.
My tests are typically in violence. I'm pretty
Mine are
violent.
too.
I have rage,
What?
and when I feel righteous, I feel rage, and it could hurt people. Last time it happened, 50 years ago, all right, 45 years ago, 40 years ago, but still it was pretty serious. But it's still there. It's like in Russia, you're trained to fight physically. In school, So they test me, and they give me all sorts of tests where I'm provoked to fight. And I score better and better with years. Like a year ago, I was pretty bad with that. I was provoked in a sleep, in a dream. I would fight, maybe not kill, but fight and physically fight.
I have the same thing. The dream though, I feel like they know who I am because I would have dreams where I would kill shadow people. They would call me in my dreams. They'd call me the Shadow Slayer. I don't really know why. They knew, but I wonder if they just knew. I don't know if it was a past life or anything, but like I would like literally kill shadow people. I don't really know why, but
Those are bad.
I feel like they would. They kind of just they wondered about that area of me. And the other night I had a dream. I was like outside in my backyard, and there's this green alien on the roof, and it looks reptile. Like it didn't look reptilian. It was small. And I waved at it, and it just jumped at me and started attacking me. And I'm like, what the hell do I do? So I kicked it and ran inside because I was like, okay, I don't really want to hurt this guy because he's kind of little and I don't really want to hurt him. But I don't know. I felt kind of bad kicking him, but...
Was this in a dream or reality?
It was in a dream. If that was reality, I'd probably be like, oh my gosh, what is happening? No.
I thought it was. Yeah, I thought it was a dream.
I had this experience. Maybe you guys can tell me what you think that was. I was sitting at a dentist's office, and I'm waiting for him, and he was taking long. I had already gone in, and I'm sitting on my chair, and all of a sudden I feel like the floor starts to dissolve, and everything just started to just like go away.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to freak out there, and I was like, what is going on here? And the chair was always there, but I saw the floor and everything started to like dissolve.
It's called your shifting.
Yes, it's a shift. It's a dimensional shift. Usually happens during meditation, though, or during times when you're really spiritually aware. During those times, sometimes your arms will disappear, the floor will disappear, but it's a dimensional shift, definitely. And usually starts with yellow.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. But basically, it could be expectation of pain that caused you to shift.
Yeah.
No, I think it was more what he said, because that day I know I was very relaxed, very.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it wasn't. The doctor wasn't doing anything.
Yeah, it's a dimension, sort of a meditative thing. Sometimes it can happen, and the first thing some people notice is like your arm will turn yellow, or something will turn yellow, or a different color than it should be before you go into a dimensional shift.
Don't be afraid of paralysis. That is. So Bashar told the story. So he was some lady asked him that in the exchange like that she was friends with aliens, and they were visiting her, and she liked them, like kind of gray aliens. And at some point they took her and started dancing with her, and she danced with them, and everyone was happy. But then they started spinning. And spin faster and faster, and she tried to kind of get, and they hold her hands, and she tried to get rid of that and stop, but the spinning continued. They held her hands stronger and stronger, so it hurt it, and she kind of was offended. After that, she started being afraid of it. And Bashar said, "We apologize. Our technology went wrong, and the whole." Dimensional transfer went. It's like in Star Trek, what they use that.
Yes, the transporter.
Transporter. So the transporter kind of malfunctioned, and they had to hold you not to lose you in dimensions. That's why the spinning was a malfunction, and holding was to keep you not lost.
Right.
And we apologize for that, but nobody wanted to hurt you. So also he commented that it's natural when you do dimensional transfer, you're not used to move in fourth dimension, and the third dimension you already lost it, you left it, so you're not in control of your body anymore. So when I'm meditating, every time I go somewhere and I come back and I'm paralyzed, and I'm used to that. It's natural for me. I kind of slowly come back. And I kind of hold it. I want to stay there in a higher dimension. So when I come back, I kind of delay that. But when I'm in a hurry, I'm very often on time schedule, so I have to run fast somewhere else. So my way to coming back, first I control my breathing. My breathing wakes up first, and then I kind of move my fingers and my fingers on the legs, and then I slowly give myself, if I have time, I give myself several minutes to come back. So don't be afraid of shifts. Basically, typically you're you're protected there. Typically.
As they say, shift happens.
Also about them observing you, we asked Lakesh, what can he see about us from his perspective, or I think a few others we also asked. And they don't see us physically. They, he doesn't know. They see our higher part, the etheric body. They can see our emotions, the colors, that sort of thing. They know our mental state, but not what we think, not what we physically do.
So, like, it's pointless going outside of my backyard and waving at them. Oh my gosh.
Also, once it was a positive move, but they kind of did a recording, holographic recording of a certain thing. Jim and I were in a certain, event, and they said that they came there, or they were organized to have it holographic recorded, so really see the physicality of what was happening. There was nothing special, but someone wanted to see us, how we physically look, and they did that recording. But that's not what they usually do. Normally they follow you through other things, higher dimensional, not through a physical thing.
Hey, and Jim, with the implant, what is it giving them? What kind of information are they getting with that?
I think Jim left, maybe.
That's what I wondered too.
I think Jim left. Jim is not here, I think. It's somebody else is here.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, hello. But you can take your time. So what I wanted to say, implants, tracking. I was given an implant when I needed to when I was to travel from Maryland to here. I was given an implant. It was painful, and I didn't know what was that. But then I answered later. And for health, for shifting up, they kind of give implant to keep you healthier and help things. There are other reasons. Hello.
So,
welcome.
Thank you. I'm listening.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
I have a question. I promised my son to ask a question, and I forgot. So my son watched, I think, an episode where they taught him how to create a black hole in his home, and basically create the whole universe in his home. And he said, he asked aliens. He said, asked me to ask aliens if he gets into this black hole, how does he return back to his home? Is there a way to come back?
Black holes.
Yeah, if he creates a black hole, a toy black hole in his home, and is sucked into that, how he comes back?
It depends. What dimension is he in?
Sorry?
He will not come back. He will be destroyed in a black hole.
That's what I thought. Thank you.
Other dimensions might be able to return.
All right.
But none that I know of successfully at this time.
I see.
But there is one, but I will not speak of it.
I see.
There is one. Not my species, as you would call it, a species.
What's your species?
I don't know what you would call my species. What word do you want me to use?
Are you human looking?
Oh, I'm so glad I'm not human looking.
Are you like any of our animals?
No. It doesn't matter what I look like anyway. I'm only here listening.
Oh. Do you want to read poetry? No?
No.
All right, you're welcome. Keep listening if you want to contribute. So implants, controlling implants, I don't think they control much, but I think some of the implants are for forgetting, I think. They, at some point, some abductees, the contactees are trained as rescue workers. And they are taken to the ships, have training rooms, the screens, and some scenarios, so that the aliens, especially the Greys, were trained humans to be rescue workers, to organize saving refugees and moving them to the ships. So this memory of training was repressed using implants, I think. So implant turns off that memory, but when it's needed, if there is a catastrophe and a catastrophic event on Earth, the implants would turn on the memory so the humans can do their job of helping others to get to the ships and leave. And that's like one of the examples of use of implants.
Okay, but like, can you talk to them through the implant, or is that more like data that they're getting through that?
I know one person who says he talks through implant. I forgot his name, but I know who he is. Sheldon Nidal. He says he has an implant which gives him direct contact. He can talk to them anytime. I don't know any others who can speak to them through implants. Also, one more thing is that typically you are monitored by one of the species or one of the alliances and not another. For example, if Zeta Greys come and find that you have Pleiadian or Yahyel or Girk Fitneer implant, they won't touch you because they kind of respect each other's territory. So some are subjects, patients or subjects of that race, and some are subjects of that culture, and some are subjects of that culture. Some of the implants are kind of put here illegally, like Reptilians are not allowed to do that, but they still do that. So, but Girk Fitneer and Galactic Federation, I don't know if Galactic Federation of Light does implant, but Girk Fitneer certainly does. And Zeta Greys certainly do.
Is there a way that you can find out which species you're being watched by?
Ask Lakesh, it usually tells you.
Oh, okay.
But basically, it's nice to know that you're protected by one alliance and others wouldn't touch you. That kind of gives a peace of mind.
No one can touch.
But Zeta Greys used to abduct people.
No one can touch you now.
Oh, things changed since then?
There is more rules. You have entered a new time in your evolution. Since then, you are not to be touched without permission.
That is nice to know. Thank you.
Thank you. That makes me feel much better.
Who is ensuring that? Is it gods or aliens?
Aliens will protect the humans. They cannot be touched. It is the policy.
Are you fourth-dimensional?
You might understand that to be true, yes.
Same reality as Tekkrr and Lakesh?
I am in a different window.
Time-wise?
Yes.
I see. You're welcome. Here.
Welcome. Yes.
Do you wish to tell us anything?
I came more to be enlightened by you than you by me.
We are honored.
Thank you.
Do you wish to ask some questions?
Perhaps.
Go ahead.
Your emotional intensities, does that cause pain?
Sometimes.
Yes.
Yes.
Depression, I meet it every day.
Does it result in physical pain?
Yeah, it's called neurosis. Yeah, neurotic pains are typical.
Heartache.
Often you don't realize it, but yes, physical, yes. It kind of
Heartache would be physical.
spiritual goes into mental, into physical. Yes.
Do you wish to release yourself of these ailments?
Yes.
We want to be more successful. Success for me is more, and service. Success and service is higher priority. If I have to, pain for me is kind of comes as given, but of course I would be happy to be healthier.
Do you mean in terms of the emotions, if we want to be released of them?
Yes.
Oh.
Perhaps if they didn't have such a big range. The emotions.
Or if you just wake up tomorrow without emotions.
No, not wake up without emotions. I'm saying not such a big range within one particular emotion. That's what I mean. Like we can go from 0 to 60 very fast, and sometimes
0 to 60.
Sorry. Just a number. Just a number. So that
it has no meaning.
No, it was just an example.
It was just an example. It just means that we are capable of feeling that emotion, not having it, to having it very intense in a very short period of time.
But there are people who have less range of emotions, right?
Yes.
Like autists have very limited emotions.
Correct.
I think we have a huge range of emotions. Like humans are different. We have all varieties, and some are more successful than others. And different varieties of humans and different intensities of emotions. I'm pretty happy with my emotions. I think I am pretty balanced. I kind of have certain control over them. I would like to have more control, especially when I have public speaking or doing interviews. I would like to be more in control of my emotions, but it just comes with age and practice.
I sense pain in the physicality of your body.
Yes.
How do you alleviate yourself of this pain?
Oh, a lot of things. Sleep, meditation, just control over your emotions, food, healing, herbs, burning incense. Some people use alcohol, drugs, and stuff of that sort.
Nonsense. Some of that was nonsense to me.
I understand.
Do you have some insights on dealing with pain and the emotions? I sensed you wanted to share something.
Thank you.
Is that correct?
Perhaps, but not now.
Okay, thank you.
Perhaps.
You can pronounce your opinions. I kind of gave my overview, but
I feel welcome now.
You're welcome indeed.
What's your name?
Daleo Shandeni Borofundi.
Daleo Shandeni Borofundi.
Can we call you Daleo for short?
Daniel.
Daleo. Daleo for short.
Daleo is acceptable.
Thank you.
Welcome,
Thank
Daleo.
Do you have any more questions for us?
When your brains function, can you feel the synapse?
No.
No.
Individual, no. I think it's distributed. But sometimes there is pain localized, but it's not synapse. It's like a big part of the brain, like 3-4 centimeters.
I see much activity in the brain, electricity. It seems almost painful.
It's balanced with time. Basically, we are very flexible, and as we grow, we balance.
Your systems are very I don't know the word.
Daleo?
Daleo, yes.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Are you aware also of the different levels of brain function? I don't know if we could call it that, but there's other awareness centers in our bodies, such as our hearts, our intestines. There's also intelligence there. Can you speak to that? Can you share how you are experiencing awareness not only through the brain in the head, but also through those other levels?
Yes, that's what I was trying to do. You have too many functions happening at once. It's inefficient.
Makes us adaptable.
But
Not
for the most part.
No, it makes you less adaptable.
Sometimes we feel that there's so much going on and we don't know what to do.
Yeah.
That is confusing for us.
Yeah, but a lot of the functions of the body we're not aware that they're happening.
It is too much going on at once to be efficient.
So a lot of those functions are in automatic, so we're not aware that they're happening.
Yes, I am aware of that now. At first I was wondering how you could even speak.
I can see that.
Daleo, are you aware of the personality crystal, the design crystal, and the magnetic monopole in the body?
I am aware of something similar to that. Yes.
And can you see our binary nature, the personality aspect and the body consciousness aspect?
I can switch to different analytical views. I can see physiology, radiology, orology. I can see Spentotos. I can see Shukra. And I can see many other forms and colors that tell different things about your particular bodies.
Could you tell us how your bodies work and how does your physiology work, please?
My physiology is much simpler and more dynamic. And assisted by cybernetics. As a child, you get your assistance for the body, and it makes it work at a high level.
What we would call a type of artificial intelligence combined with biological material.
It's more biological than intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
When you incarnate on your planet, do you remember anything?
At the age of a certain age, you are given back 1/3 of your memory from the past. And at another age, you are given another 1/3 of your memory from the past. And when you become fully mature, you will find your memories of the past complete. But the final memories of the past will connect you with all the present people in your life.
Have you ever? Oh.
You understand?
Yes.
Thank you.
Very much to have that.
Have you ever observed people in love? Have you ever observed the human emotion of love and what that looks like in color?
Yes.
What does it look like to you?
It's very messy.
Are we very confusing for you to understand that we even exist?
You have an existence that is difficult for me to understand. It is very diverse and confusing and not straightforward.
You are correct. Can I ask you about emotions? Do you have as many emotions as we do?
I would categorize them as impulse, trajectory, synapse. And they are varied, but they do not last nearly as long or have nearly as much impact as your emotional systems seem to be able to handle.
Which means you don't have physical illness in your beings?
Physical illness is necessary for 2 reasons. We must get by the first disease by the age of the 2nd degree, and we must learn why the disease moves from one person to the other.
Daleo, do you have some more questions for us? What would you like to know or ask?
I have perceived many of my answers already.
Very well.
But thank you for your interest.
You're very welcome.
I may have another question shortly.
My favorite emotions are self-sacrifice, or being inquisitive and wonder, emotion of scientific wonder.
Self-sacrifice would end your life. How can that be positive?
Self-sacrifice, not necessarily in a full-blown self-sacrifice, just sacrificing your personal interest for the needs of others, not the whole life. Self-sacrifice in terms of service.
Service.
People who go to war to defend their country, for example, that would be a type of sacrificing oneself.
It wouldn't be my favorite, but that would be okay. I will
For the
take my children. Sacrifice a lot of your own time and interest for the sake of your children. They're my favorite.
Well,
I must resonate on that. It makes little sense at 3 angles. Continue.
Oh, scientific wonder?
Yes.
Being falling in love, just the beginning, is so wonderful. Yeah, that's a flirting period of falling in love.
hmm.
When you just learn the other person and share your life and things of that sort, it feels so wonderful.
Analyzation complete. Yes.
Thank you.
How connected are you on your planet? Are you very connected to each other, or are you working together, your whole society?
We work together, but we are separate analogies, a wrong word, separate in our analysis of ourselves, but we connect to each other for security and warmth in emotion.
So do you have a partner?
I have, as you would have a partner.
You have children?
I have offspring.
Uh-huh.
Not the same as children on your world.
Do you have male and female on your world, or does it look different?
There is male and female when it is necessary.
So you also have more neutral.
There are those that remain neutral for all time, and those that remain male or female for all time. There are those who choose their sexuality and change it.
What color are you, may I ask?
Brown would be the color.
Thank you.
And can you guess how far your planet is, or your inhabitant is from where we are now? How did you come through Jim?
I don't have to guess.
Oh, how much? How far are you from us?
It's not a concern.
Oh. How did you find Jim?
It was an interesting opening. Pleasant.
Oh.
Have you?
Calming sensation. Then I heard the voices. It was different. This is a new experience. We always have great love for new experience.
Are your world exploring our world a lot, or is this a new experience for your world?
We have been here before, but it has been many years in your time frame.
You're not Draconians by any chance, right?
I am not.
Okay.
Could you give us a sample of your native language? A blessing, for example?
Blessing. What is blessing?
Or a greeting.
Greeting. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Do you have poetry in your world?
Yes.
Do you mind reading a poem?
Yes, I might.
It's okay.
So, have you been observing us, our civilization?
My people are not truly concerned. You are a curiosity.
I understand. Thank you.
But a delightful curiosity, if there is such a thing.
Yes, yes, it's a good formula. How do you see God?
With my heart.
How does it appear to you?
I cannot explain. There are no words for your planet. It is beyond what you comprehend. Your images of God are small.
Is God digital?
No. Whoa. Not worthy of response.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
It's very confusing for us. It seems to be very confusing from other species about human beings, and human beings think themselves to be a little bit confusing too.
You are confusing creatures. You do not have purpose until it is right in front of you, and then you grab onto it. It seems like you do not have much grounding.
It's like we are, as human beings, we are born like if fish were born onto the land and somehow have to find a way into the ocean.
Fish, yes.
So we, as human beings, we get born in a reality we are not so comfortable about, and we somehow have to find a way to where we're supposed to be.
Yes. We have more planning from birth. But there are things you must experience that are outside the realms of planning, but not like this. I need to leave.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Farewell, Daleo.
Bye-bye. Blessings.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Oh, hello.
Wow, Jim.
Welcome back, Jim.
Thank you. Where was I?
Do you know who that was? I mean, you've been through it before?
No, that was a first for him, whoever that was.
It was not a draconian. It was four-dimensional brown being, which is not anything like human.
Daleo for short.
Yes.
Daleo. Daleo?
Daleo.
Yeah.
Well, there was a longer name that he gave us, but just for us to be able to say it.
Well, the thing is, he left me hot and sweaty. I'm all sweaty. There's sweat on my skin and on my forehead. I'm all really, really hot and sweaty. He was from a very warm place.
Sandy?
Yeah.
What did you feel when he was there? You're very sensitive. I was wondering if you felt anything.
I sensed that he just did not have information to share with us, that he just wanted to be here to learn from us, but it was a little bit uncomfortable because it's almost like he didn't want to take questions and he wasn't ready to share very much about himself. So I felt a little uncomfortable.
Did he have a good spirit? How was the spirit level? Did it feel good?
He wasn't negative necessarily.
More neutral.
Yeah, he felt
Very
good.
Very neutral.
Yeah.
He was very
neutral.
Very neutral.
There was so much I wanted to find out about. Did we get his planet or no?
No.
No, he wouldn't give it.
He said his different time frame that our location occurs. So he might be from the future or the past or whatever.
Yes, I got the feeling that we were pressuring him a lot with questions. That's why I tried to invert the dynamic and ask him if he wanted to place questions. I got that feeling too, that he was a bit uncomfortable.
Jaguar, you helped greatly. You are so wonderful diplomat.
Yes, I'm starting to understand and accept that maybe my role has to do with diplomatic relationships. Yes, putting aside the modesty, and because this is also helping me to understand how I fit in. So
yeah, you not only said good things, you opened several doors very graciously.
Yes, one has to be delicate in communication with.
I'm gonna have to watch that one because I was really out of the loop on that one pretty much. I'm more out of the loop on that one than many of the others.
So basically,
no, but I think in the beginning he was trying to get a sense of our energy and how we felt about him. Because remember, then he said, "I feel welcome now." So I think he was trying to make sure that we were okay also with him being here.
Yeah, that Jaguar did was basically, I asked him question and he was kind of protective and he didn't want to answer. But when Jaguar offered him, if he could ask questions and we would answer, that was a great move. And I think it opened everything. And it's not my style, but I think that's a great style.
It was more like he came and see what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, you just thought, well, I just couldn't see that, and you saw that. You saw that good need which could be addressed.
He felt very uncomfortable at first, and very neutral, not happy or sad or up or down or anything, but uncomfortable was the word.
Yeah, because I think he was looking to be more of a bystander, and not be the center of attention.
I think he seemed like he didn't say much to me. It sounded I couldn't hear him say much.
Yeah,
He did give, I think, a fair amount of information for someone who didn't want to talk too much.
I think he's very proud of his beingness and certain rules and things should happen a certain way.
He looked for words in my brain that I couldn't give him, so I knew that. I couldn't give him the words. I couldn't. I had no idea what he was getting at. So,
towards the beginning, Jim, he said, "I'm glad I don't look human." He said, "I'm glad we don't look human."
Oh,
I was wondering what he looked like.
I don't know what they do look like.
Yeah, really. Well, we must not look too good to them.
Well, remember, yes, is there any animal like that we could relate? And they said no.
Oh, so he wasn't like any of our animals that he knew of. He was very uncomfortable for like at least the first part of it, for sure.
Remember, he said he saw a nice opening. So
yeah.
He said what?
He saw a nice opening.
A nice opening. Okay.
Basically, we discussed how they see us, and then we discussed plans. These two things kind of. I think the question how they see us.
How did he start? Were you meditating and then?
All of a sudden, I started to feel real logy, almost sleepy, and he came in differently than most aliens do because he came in with a much lighter jolt than most of them do.
Yes, it was almost imperceptible for us. Like Max turned around and all of a sudden, like, oh, Jim's no longer here. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very soft, a very soft enter. It's like he was trying to put me to sleep. I could tell that there was somebody there, but it was like I was starting to go to sleep. And I said, okay. Because I said, Fishin, is this okay? And he said, it's fine. And so I was like,
okay.
I said, okay. So then I sort of sensed that there was somebody there. And then he just came in. He was very uncomfortable at first. I let him go. I didn't push him or do anything. So he pushed me aside a little. But I couldn't hear him talk. Did he not talk for a long time?
Yeah, he didn't.
Because he came in and I did not hear him say anything.
He came from the beginning. He just wanted to listen. He said.
Yeah. Well, Max was talking when he first came in. I
noticed he came in, but I didn't want. I give the aliens time to accumulate to the body. So, but he was silent longer than usual.
Oh, okay. That's what I sensed. That a lot of silence from him. A lot of silence.
And evasiveness. Very evasive.
Oh, really?
Didn't want to share information. It's not important, or.
He's not allowed to share the location of the planet. Most of them cannot. Yahyel still don't tell us, and Lyrans don't tell us. Only Pleiadians tell us. Only one planet, and not from the Pleiadians. We know through Zachariah because he knows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but sometimes some of the thing we said to him was very like childish, ridiculous thing.
Oh, really?
And then he didn't want to answer it because it was a ridiculous question.
Yes, I appreciated a lot the blunt and straight communication and setting boundaries very clearly. It's something that us humans have in comparison, have some trouble with. It was a little bit shocking for some of our sensitivity, but I found it really interesting, really curious. He was very blunt and very straight with boundaries, like, I won't go there, I don't want to talk, or your question is unreasonable. It was very, very clear communication.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but perhaps it just didn't think it was necessary to answer some of those questions, that it was irrelevant.
Okay. Yeah, he seemed like a very sure of himself. He was uncomfortable at first, but then he got very sure of himself.
Which we never asked. I wonder if we would have had a better idea of what he does.
Oh, I didn't.
We didn't think to even ask that.
Allowing questions to me. He was like, I'm here to listen, you know, I'm not really taking.
Yeah, no, not specifically, but in general, like if he's a scientist or if he's
Yeah. Oh, did he really say that?
No, nothing of that sort. I didn't even go to.
The only question he asked was, Max, are you draconian? He said no.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
But we don't know what he is.
That's okay. We can visit.
That's fine.
All right.
Jim would channel the UN.
Yeah. That was different. That was a very different one. Yeah.
Okay, not nation, but universe.
Yes. Yes. Universal. I don't know. That one was very different. Yeah. I don't think we've ever encountered one quite like that one.
It sounded familiar to me, though.
It sounded familiar to you. Wow.
Because he was in my session.
Okay. Oh.
He was in your session?
He was in my session.
Your past life regression.
It sounded like that person.
Oh.
That the tonality, you know,
the tonality?
Sounded, yeah, and the way he was speaking, it sounded like the person that came through my session.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
See, but I didn't feel uncomfortable with the fact that he didn't want to answer certain questions. Or maybe it's because I'm used to dealing with that kind of personality of people.
I don't think he was trying to make you guys feel uncomfortable.
Not at all. We just have to deal with different kinds of beings. It's all about that. You know?
I think he didn't want to do that from the beginning.
I don't think he understood how we feel, you know, because he was asking about our emotions and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I was just really curious. He didn't. I don't think he meant to just like make us sensitive towards his seriousness. I think. He was just really curious. I understood him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I understand if you were sensitive towards how he was really serious and everything, because I'm empathic. I understand things, but I understand how he was really curious. I got a really serious vibe from him, so.
Yeah.
Sounds like that.
Yeah. He wanted to know about our emotions.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't have emotions where he's from.
Yeah, I feel like he has limited emotions, kind of.
Yeah, I agree, Caitlin. I got the sense also that it's a different spectrum of emotions.
Now, did you understand when I asked him that, what he said?
No, what did he say?
He said they have 3 different types of emotions, and one is like very quick, and others are different, but it wasn't comprehensible. He kind of translated it in a way it didn't have much meaning.
Yeah, that's why I was asking.
Maybe they have 3 types of emotions, but apparently they're quite different from ours, so he couldn't translate it into our language.
Yeah.
He asked if we want to get rid of some of our emotion.
Yes, that was it.
It was like he could teach us to do that, or I didn't understand that. Right.
I got a vibe from that too.
I'm gonna have to listen to that one.
Yeah.
Sounds like he was very strange.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. He expressed his style of emotion as electromagnetic impulses. It was an impulse that they experienced in some of their emotions, and they do not last as long as ours do. Yes. But they do come up, they intensify, and they go back as an impulse, but they don't last as long. And I asked him if he has observed human love, the emotion of love. And what he said was, yes, it is very messy. I have no idea what he meant by that, but I
think he's saying that towards you know how there's like really crazy things going on nowadays with love? I guess he just doesn't see our love as something really serious, because you know how there's like a whole bunch of divorces and stuff, and
yeah, maybe
just a
that's
lot of
what
things happening. Maybe he just there's like
Well, he was having
Yeah. Well, it is messy all the way around.
It is, yes.
Well, he was searching for words the whole time he was here. He was searching for the right words, and he couldn't come up with them all the time. So messy might not have been the word he was looking for, but he was searching for words a lot. He was really searching for words, but he couldn't find them. It wasn't a direct match, so he wouldn't use it. So
right, your synopsis must have been like really fire and trying to find the right word.
There was not a lot of direct matches, but he was able to interpret enough that he could communicate. So
once we discussed love with someone, I think with Lakesh maybe, and then someone came through. He didn't introduce himself. It was like that visitor. And he said, what do you guys can understand in love? Your love is external, meaning that you want something from someone else. And real love is complete union.
Right.
That's very beautifully expressed.
Earth, he said, you know, it's outside of human capacity.
all right, well, I'm gonna have to watch that one. That one's
It was
going
a
to
long
be
time ago. I don't think it was published yet.
No.
It's still in my audio archives, but it was.
But that one I'll have to watch because I don't really.
Oh, this one, yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know what he said at all.
Yeah, because if you think about it, a lot of times the way we view love is because that person is making me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be around them.
Mm-hmm.
It might sound a bit detached, but a lot of times that's where what we consider love.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it is, you know, I would have very good children from that woman.
She has good childbearing hips. No.
And you know, and other talents.
Bad.
That was very logical. Oh, also, Max was trying to explain the concept of self-sacrifice, and he couldn't grasp that concept.
I know I explained. It was a problem.
What did he say about that?
He said, you know, we will die. Why would you, kill yourself?
He said it doesn't make sense. And Max, we tried to give him a few examples. Max mentioned the time you sacrifice for your children. I mentioned a soldier. I think that if I'm sacrificing time for my children, Max, just as a comment to you, I'm not really sure it's sacrifice because they're my children and I love them. And I think it's more sacrificial if I say I'm going to go protect somebody I don't know, you know, like you're protecting a whole nation of people you don't know, but you're willing to give your life because you believe it's the right thing to do.
He was interesting then.
I was talking more about emotion.
Causing a lot of
but it's really what you associate as, what you define as us and them. Basically, when you expand yourself into your family, it's one step, and then you expand yourself into a nation.
It's got to start. I agree. It's got to start.
Yeah, but he was. Yeah, but he was asking for emotions, and sacrifice really is not an emotion.
Well, the emotion behind doing it is
feeling of service, feeling of
that's more like love.
That sort of thing.
Yeah.
Well,
but I have to go now. It's
yes.
Me too.
Gabriel, thank you for coming.
Thank you, Gabriel.
It was very interesting being.
Thank you.
Talk that they have neutral beings and they can choose to be male or female or neutral, not male or female. And what I understand is most of them are neutral. Both male or female.
Connected to a computer.
Wow.
Biological computer.
No, it's a lot more interesting than I thought.
It's like the Matrix.
For any of that.
It's like fields of people growing in a field.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not sure.
No, I'm joking.
Like the Borg?
No, they're not humans at all. Not even looking human.
Okay.
No, he was happy he didn't look like a human.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Okay, good.
I know. I was like, I'm glad I don't look like you guys.
I wanted to also comment on another addition. We have explained the implants. So Jim and I were given some implants when we started talking to this dude. They were considering first the channeling of Jim wasn't easy at the beginning, so they tuned him up by sticking implants here and there, and some of them were good and some of that hurt. So they would take it out. Or
the one in the throat that they put in was real bad. They took that out within a few days, but all of a sudden I was like, and they said, well, that will help you channel better. Oh, I don't think so. No. So that was in the beginning.
How did you know that they have put an implant there?
Because we asked them, yeah.
He talks to them all the time, right?
Yeah, so. And I was going, this is not good. This really hurts.
How many implants do you have then?
Huh?
How many implants do you have now then?
I don't even know.
You don't know.
I didn't ask recently.
Yeah, same for me. One of the implants also hurt, and they took it out. And I didn't ask to take it out. I think if I waited a little longer, it would kind of settle. So, but they're quick.
Well, you had one in your side.
You think so?
Remember the one that was over here that made a mark?
Oh no, it's not an implant. They did a test on my compatibility with whatever astral visits.
Oh, but they took it out then or something.
No, it wasn't an implant. It was kind of a test. The only proof I had for a long time, and still I think they're the main proof I had. Geometric marks on my body. They appeared and stayed there for almost half a year.
Wow.
Wow.
Do you have an idea of what the implant looks like?
Look like?
They're very, very small for one thing.
They look biological. It's like a little clump of biological tissue.
Right, and they have removed implants from people all around.
Yeah.
So they are there. So
if you just go to Google Images and then look for that, you'll see it. It's very small.
It's very, very small. Yeah.
Richard Dolan told the story how from the witness how somebody tried to remove the implant and he saw that the implant tried to escape.
Moved.
Yeah. I heard that interview. I heard that interview on Coast to Coast when he was explaining that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Whitley Strieber that they tried to take his out and it moved and it went further in, so they couldn't do it.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I'm also going to go, and
I think we're done. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm toast.
Yeah, we invite everybody. So invite everybody to register at the Federation, the Galactic.
Yeah.
What's that site?
Yes.
Federation of Light. The Federation of Light at .ning.com. So they're welcoming us. They like us, and let's copy our activity there.
And
that will bring more people. We kind of be more exposed.
And what's the other network? The Enlightenment?
There are several, but let's start with one. The Federation of Light, ning.com, and it's posted on our site. Please join there and be active there, and let's go out. I mean, we were cooking in a jar, protected from others and invisible to others for half a year. Now it's time to spill over to a bigger world.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Jim, thank you so much, as always. Max, thank you very much, as always.
Thanks, everybody.
Nice to see you, Stan.
Bye.
And take care, everybody.
Have a great night.
Thank you, Jaguar and Gabrielle and Sabrina and Kathleen and everybody. God bless you.
Max.
Night.
Max.
This is really interesting.
Yes?
Max, is it possible to stop recording and still keep the hangout for a bit?
I can do stop. All right, goodbye, the viewers, and stop the broadcast.